Okay, Assalamu alaikum. Today we will learn chapter 2, that is nonlinear equations. So we'll start with the quadratic functions. Let's understand first the definition of quadratic function or quadratic equation. So the quadratic equation is a polynomial equation of second degree, and the general form of this quadratic equation is given by the following equation, which is a times x squared plus b times x plus c equals 0. Now this equation is called quadratic equation because it consists of 1, 2, 3 terms on the left side. The right side equals to 0. Now the first term is a number a multiplied by x squared plus another number b multiplied by x plus c. So a, b, and c are real numbers. For this equation to be a quadratic equation, the number a should not be 0, because if a equals 0 means this term does not exist, and this equation becomes a first degree equation or linear equation. So in order for this equation to maintain its name as a quadratic equation, the first term here should exist, i.e. a should not be 0. Now this is called the quadratic equation or the second degree equation. Now we will learn how to solve the quadratic equation. There are different methods of solving quadratic equation. We will learn now the first method, which is using the factors or factorization. So let's start with this example, x squared minus 25 equals 0. This is a quadratic equation, and we need to solve this equation. We understood that the meaning of solving the equation means finding the value of x. So when the question asks us to find or to solve the equation, means it asks us to find the value of x that will satisfy the equation, that will make the left side equal to the right side. Now we have x squared minus 25 equals 0. First of all, is this a quadratic equation? Yes, it is a quadratic equation. Although there are only 2 terms on the left side, but still it's a quadratic equation because we have x squared term. The other term that is missing is bx, b times x. It's missing because b equals to 0, so we don't have to write it. b equals 0, so 0 times x is 0. So the equation is given like this, it's a quadratic equation. So once we see in this equation a term which is x squared, it means that this is a quadratic equation. So we are going to solve this equation by a method called factorization. So first step is we need to factorize the left side of this equation. The left side is x squared minus 25, and this left side expression is a difference between 2 squares, which we learned in the previous chapter. So we can factorize this term or this expression as x squared minus 5 squared, and x squared minus 5 squared is a difference of 2 squares, which can be factorized as x minus 5 in one bracket, and the second bracket is x plus 5, and the 2 brackets are multiplied by each other. Now, the left side of this equation, x squared minus 25, can be written as x minus 5 in one bracket multiplied by x plus 5 in the other bracket. So if we write these 2 brackets here instead of the left side, then the equation will be written in this form: x minus 5 in one bracket multiplied by x plus 5 in the other bracket equals to 0. You have to remember that these two brackets, the multiplication of these two brackets is the same as x squared minus 25. Now, if you have two numbers, their multiplication is equivalent to 0. It means that either the first number is 0 or the second number is 0, or both of them are 0. So if the first number is 0, means x minus 5 equals 0. And if the second bracket is 0, means x plus 5 equals 0. So either this condition or this condition. So if one of these two conditions is satisfied, the equation here will be satisfied. So let's see if the first condition here, x minus 5 equals 0, we can move minus 5 to the other side. It becomes x equals 5. So if x equals 5, the first bracket here becomes 0, and then the multiplication also 0. Hence, this equation is satisfied. So x equals 5 is the first solution of this equation. Now, let's see the other condition. X plus 5 equals 0. This will give us x equals minus 5. And in this case, this is another solution for x. Minus 5 also satisfies the equation. So the solution for this equation, in fact, consists of two values, not only one value. So it's a set of values, minus 5 and 5. So the value of x that will satisfy this quadratic equation are x equals minus 5 or x equals 5. Both of them satisfy the above given equation. Okay, let's see another example. Solve the following equation. X squared minus 11x plus 24 equals to 0. So again, we have to factorize this equation. This is a third term polynomial. The left side of this equation is a third term, or I mean a polynomial with 3 terms. It's a second degree polynomial. And the factorization of this polynomial, x squared minus 11x plus 24, is equivalent to x minus 8 in one bracket multiplied by x minus 3 in the other bracket. Just to remind you of the method of factorizing this 3-term polynomial, we write two brackets. We write here x and x, and then we will look for two numbers. Their multiplication is 24, and their addition is 11. So the two numbers that their multiplication is 24 and their addition is 11 is 8 and 3. So we write 8 and 3. And because the last term here is having positive sign, then these two signs will be similar to each other. Similar to each other means either both of them are positives or both of them are negatives. Which one to select based on the sign of the middle term. The sign of the middle term is negative, then these two signs should be similar to each other and they should be negative, both of them negative. So the factorization of the left-hand side of this equation is these two brackets. To confirm your factorization, if you multiply out these two brackets, you should get the left side of this equation. Okay, now again, if we replace the left side of the equation by these two brackets, we will get this equation written in this format using the factors. Again, this equation means that this bracket equals 0 or this bracket equals 0. So if the first bracket equals to 0, we solve this equation, we will get x equals to 8. If the second bracket equals to 0, then x equals to 3. So the solution of the above equation is x equals 8 or x equals to 3. The same steps we followed as in the previous example, but in this example we have a polynomial of 3 terms. This is also one more example. we need to solve this equation, x squared plus 16 equals 0. Now, x squared plus 16, we want to factorize this. We cannot factorize it because it's not a difference between two squares because it's a positive sign. So we can move 16 to the other side. We will get x squared equals minus 16. Here it's impossible to solve this equation. Why? Because the left side of equation is x squared. It's a squared number. Any squared number cannot be a negative number. Any squared number cannot be a negative value. It has to be either 0 or a positive value. So x squared equals minus 16. The solution here is not a real number. It's a different kind of number. We call it imaginary number or complex number, which is not required from us to learn it at this stage. So x squared equals minus 16 has no solution. So always if x is squared and is equivalent to a negative number, it has no solution. So we will say there is no solution for this equation. It means you cannot find any value, any real value of x that will make the left side of this equation equals to 0. Let's see another example. X plus 4 in square, in a bracket square, equals 36. And we need to solve this equation. So we can transform the equation to homogeneous equation, i.e. we can move this to the left side and leave the right side to 0. So we will get this form of the equation. And 36 can be written as 6 squared. So the left side of the equation becomes x plus 4 in a bracket squared minus 6 squared. And this is a difference between two squared. This is a difference between two squared. And we know how to factorize the difference between two squares. I mean the first number, x plus 4 plus 6, and x plus 4 minus 6. So we can add 4 plus 6 together here, and we'll get x plus 10, and 4 minus 6 is minus 2. We'll get these two brackets. So again, the solution for this equation is will be if we write the left side of the equation in this form as x plus 10 multiplied by x minus 2. So x plus 10 in one bracket, x minus 2 in another bracket equals 0. So the solution of this equation will be found if we consider the first bracket as 0 and the second bracket as 0. So if the first bracket is 0, means x plus 10 equals 0, i.e. x equals minus 10, or the second bracket, x minus 2 equals 0, i.e. x equals 2. So the solution of this equation is x equals minus 10 or x equals 2. So both of these values will satisfy the equation. Here there are some questions for you to try at home to solve these questions by factorization, number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay? So try to solve these questions, and you can discuss with me the solution of these questions during our virtual class, and number 6 as well.